Good morning, everyone. It is John Trout. It's Memorial Day today. It's been a little while since I've made a video, not because I didn't want to make videos. I dropped my iPad. I shoot all my videos with an iPad, and I dropped the iPad and destroyed the screen on it. So my son has gotten into a lot of the techie things, and we ordered a new screen and a new little digi screen, and he replaced the screen on it. We've got it back up and running, so I'm able to shoot videos again. Thankfully, my son saved me about $150 there. So I'm back out in the orchard with some tasks to do here on Memorial Day. Memorial Day weekend, kind of a special weekend in the orchard, because if I don't see Fireblight by Memorial Day weekend, then I'm pretty sure that I don't have it in the orchard. Unfortunately, this year, I started seeing Fireblight probably about 2 weeks ago. And I'm back out here this morning. I've still got some areas to clean up. And I just wanted to show you how I cut out Fireblight, how I deal with shoot blight, and how that may be a little different than blossom blight. Let's take a look. Okay, first let me show you the Fireblight Task Force bucket. It's early morning, so I've got my coffee ready to go. That's always important. So what's in my bucket here? How do I deal with Fireblight? The main thing is getting it out of the orchard. So when I see shoot blight, most of that gets cut out with a traditional pair of pruners. The knife is for shaving out blossom blight, where I'll actually get into the stem just a little bit and shave the bark out. And then those shavings, those areas, they are treated with a little bit of copper. I actually paint some copper on there. Copper and Fireblight don't get along. Copper wins. And that's just kind of a method I started using years ago whenever I would have to clean up a tree just a little bit, and I like it. So it seems like it really works. Copper's not good to spray on your trees this time of year, but just to put a little copper in an area that you scraped off works pretty good. This is a gold rush tree. Gold rush is fairly resistant to Fireblight, but if you've got a Fireblight year, you'll see it in gold rush. It usually doesn't just cover the whole tree though. So here is what looks like some shoot blight. This is this year's growth. You can see how that's flagging and dead, and I apologize, the lighting's not real good. But then you can see this apple back in there, this nickel-sized apple that's shriveling up. And I follow this limb structure back to the tree, and I can see some browning leaves all along. I'm not going to leave any of that. So one of the tricks to this is how far back do I cut? Fireblight does not move too far back into older wood, so second and third year old wood generally doesn't move back into that wood this year. So I'm going to cut this back close to the main trunk, not all the way, but close. So if there would be Fireblight in there, it's not going to infect the main trunk. That's what we don't want. And let's just go right there. Out. This is again is important. You don't want to leave this stuff laying around in the orchard. You want to get it out of the orchard. So I'll come back with a maybe a trash bag and a bucket and just start throwing these in there. You can spread Fireblight just by carrying these limbs through the orchard. So be careful how you move them. That Fireblight is there, and on warm days it'll start to ooze, and when it oozes it'll spread, and that's why you want to get it out of the orchard as soon as you find it, because it can destroy trees. Trust me, I've seen it here. I feel comfortable that the Fireblight is not back here on this tip because I can see the green tip. I don't see any dead cambium on the inside of that tip. No rusty orange brown color. So I'm comfortable that the Fireblight is out here on the end of this shoot and no longer in the tree. So I've got some blossom blight right here. I'm gonna try to show you. This is a Crimson Crisp. I found that Crimson Crisp is susceptible to Fireblight. Okay, we follow this structure up, and I am completely lost on the camera. There it is. So can you see that brown area right there? Because I can't hardly see it. That is blossom blight. So there was a flower blossom there. Fireblight got into it. You can see how the blossom is just shriveled up and brown. So that, just knowing the fire blight that we've had in the orchard this year, that's not just blossom damage where it may have broke off from the tree or something. That's fire blight. So now I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to cut that out. Okay, I cut that little blossom out of there. You can see the chip where I sliced it off of the branch. No way to show you that on camera, I'm sorry. But you can see the brownish orange underneath that bark. That's the fire blight bacteria and the dead tissue. Can you hear the low murmur in the background? Those are cicadas, and they're in the woods. Probably can't pick it up on this camera, but it's just a real low murmur. It gets louder throughout the day. But it's the 17-year cicada hatch is underway. I don't see them in the apple trees at all. Seems like they're mainly in the bigger trees out in the orchard. Huh. What's going on with this? See those 2 drops of ooze? Look at there. Codling moth? Maybe? Yeah, that's where those 2 drops of ooze are coming out of. It has to be codling moth. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe some old curculio damage. That could have been dew. I don't know. Oh well. So, over here on this tree, can you see the little chip right there in the center of the screen? And you can see how it's brownish orange, still on the outside. I tried to remove as much of that as I could with my little, actually that's my grafting knife. Now I'll take some of this copper and paint that. Sorry, no way to do it on camera. Here is the painted branch. You can see the blue copper on there. If you don't have copper and you just don't want to play games, and I don't recommend you play games with fire blight, cut that whole shoot off. Go up there somewhere and cut it. Don't do it on a rainy day. You don't want to spread anything into the cut, but go up there and cut it. Sacrifice a couple of apples so you don't sacrifice your entire tree. When the fire blight gets into this portion of the tree, you get cankers. And a tree this size, you could probably clean it up. But you get smaller size trees, newer trees, and it destroys them. They're done. All right, so I looked these over yesterday evening. That's all the fire blight I saw on this row. I know I've got some strikes out on the Gala tree. Let's go out and have a look. Here we are at the Gala tree. This is a Stark Crimson Gala, available from Stark's Nursery. The reason these trees are larger than the rest in the row is because I pulled out a lot of the trees here along the row a few years ago and replanted. I didn't like the varieties that I had there. And now I've got all Galas and Fujis on this row. But these 2 Galas were doing fine. They were the only 2 Galas I had in the row, so I kept them. And I'm probably repeating myself. I've said that before, but if there are any new viewers that are wondering what in the world. So there's fire blight in this tree. Can anybody see it? Yeah, that's not the easiest thing to do, is it? Can you see it? Anything up there look unusual? So center of screen, you can see some vegetation that's flagging and discolored. And it will get worse by the day till it's completely dead. And you compare that to the shoots beside it that are, let's just say, look strong and growing, green, compared to the flagging vegetation beside it. And given the history with the fire blight I've already cut out of this tree, it's been minimal, but I've cut some out. That's fire blight. I've got to get that out with the pruners and just cut it back far enough to be sure that I got it all. shoot I cut out, and you know, it's just starting to flag again. I just noticed it yesterday. This is the weekend here in my region, southern Indiana. This is when Fireblight's going to show up. But you follow that main stem back, and right there I can see some, was there a blossom there on the shoot tip before this growth started? Kind of looks like there was, but I can't quite tell. And then you can see this along the shoot. That's Fireblight, where it's come down. Now, how did it get in exactly? I don't know. We had some crazy windy weather there in the second week of May, first week of May. Just very extremely windy and damp, and I think maybe the trees were damaged. And it could have got in there. I think the late blossoms on the trees, we had a lot of rat tail blossoms in the orchard. I think it came in then. I didn't get the strep sprays on the blossoms like I should have. I got them early, but the last week or two of blossoms I really didn't hit. And it may have cost me this year with some Fireblight. Not a complete loss by any means. We're doing okay. So check your orchard for Fireblight. Get rid of it when you see it. Cut back safely 6 to 8 inches from where you see the strike and beyond that. If you feel it's necessary, get it out of there and burn it. Get rid of it and burn it. Can you hear the little murmur? They're there, the cicadas. Thanks for watching.